Good morning folks, and welcome back to the track, or I should say the new extended track. The track is still on the floor at the moment. Well, it's sort of off the floor, but it's also on the floor. I'll show you what I mean. As you can see, the track is still effectively on the floor, but it is actually off the floor in that it's not on the carpet. So the new extended track is up and running, but one of the key things I still haven't done is to get my existing cars and re-lap time them so that we've got a benchmark and a new league table of the cars based on the new extended track rather than the old one. And that is the job for today. So the first car I'm going to test today is going to be the Auto Art Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Got this car, it has been tweaked, don't forget. If you look back at my previous videos, you will see that this car has actually been tweaked by Gary Skip to give it much better weight balance because it was basically bouncing off the track. So this one has been tweaked. Has to be said, it's not a representative of the box fresh model, but it will be interesting to see how it sets its lap time on the new layouts. Now I think this car is going to set a really good time on this track because it's so well balanced now and it grips the corners so much better than it used to since Gary tweaked it, that I think we're looking at a really good time for this now because it's got far more ability to get the hammer down because it brakes quickly once it gets to the end of the straight. It really does get the chance to get the throttle full open on this Rockingham cut now, and I think that'll mean we're looking at a really fast time for this car. So I'm going to finish off warming it up and then we're going to see just how fast it can go around the new track. Okay, let's find out how fast this Auto Art GT3 can get around my track. We're off. Now the lovely thing about this car is now it's been rebalanced, you can really get the throttle open down those straights and make the most of them. And even when it goes into the corner, the back end slides but doesn't lose its grip. In other words, it doesn't topple like some cars that we've tried in the past. This thing just slides around the corner. I think this is going to be a good lap time. You can literally hear those back tyres screaming. There we go, we have now done, we've done the laps. That's 10 laps of the track on the GT3. We're going to bring it in and let's take a look at the lap time. Here it is then, GT3, and here is the lap time. So it did the 10 laps in 1 minute 4 seconds 0.4, so 1 minute 4 seconds 0.4, and its fastest lap time was 6.28 seconds. So that's the best I could do. Obviously anyone else driving it might be better than me, but that is a time we have now set for the Auto Art Porsche GT3 RS. From one green machine to another, this is my Lamborghini Hurricane Performante. special built one for me by Gary Skip, because you can't get a Lamborghini Hurricane Performante, or when I last checked. So he made this one for me. Now this one has been modified. It is a Carrera body shell and a Carrera chassis. If you look back through the videos that I've done previously on this, you will see that it's Carrera based, and it is without doubt the heaviest car in my collection, and it's almost certainly going to be at the moment the slowest car on a lap time, I believe. The reason being is not only is it the heaviest one, but the tyres are pretty poor as well. The original tyres are not very good at all, and they do have a tendency to get ripped off by the car as it goes around the corners. The one thing it does have in its favour is it has a very high performance motor. Gary swapped out the standard Carrera motor for a high performance motor. Now it really is a smooth motor, this one. Because of its upgraded Nsr motor, it runs extremely smoothly, but as you can see, it's already sliding. I'm not even slightly opening the throttle, and on the corners it's virtually sliding everywhere. And that's simply because of the tyres. Now, having seen how much of a performance upgrade we achieved by putting new tyres on the Scale Electric Lambo, I'm definitely going to get some new tyres put on this, definitely. If we can get them, I'm getting them, because this car will be a game changer with new tyres, I think. Still heavy, mind you, but I've got all kinds of plans for this car. So although I'm expecting it to not set a very good lap time, I am going to have big plans to get this thing much faster. I really do want to get this car up into the league tables, because I love it. I absolutely love it. But as you can see, it is driving really smoothly. It's just got virtually no grip. So this is it then for the Lamborghini Hurricane Performante. 10 laps of the track. I'm doing my best to stop this thing sliding off the track, because as you can probably see and saw earlier, this thing fishtails like mad. So it's a real art. Not only that, it will rip its own tyres off if I go too fast into a corner as well. So it does take a bit of skill, this. It's a lot harder than it looks, let me tell you. During the warm-up laps, it tore its tyres off 3 times. And it's suffering now already. We've got a bit of a tyre problem, but I'm going to go with it. Still going. God, it seems like forever this. There we go, it's done it. Okay, let's bring it in. Nice and steady, and we're going to see that it cooled off now. And we're going to bring it in and see how fast it did its 10 laps. Okay, I'm going to grab the camera. Okay, let's take the camera down. So here's the Lambo, parked up, and it did it in, oh dear, 1 minute 28.61 seconds. That's actually considerably slower than the Lamborghini Scale Electric Edition, even before it had its tyres improved. So yeah, okay, let's have a look at the fastest lap it did then. Was 8.6 seconds. That's slow. You know, it is slow. I expected it to be slow. I am going to get this car improved. I'm definitely going to get it over to Gary's workshop. I'd love to see this car just get a little bit more performance out of it if we can. I really would. So but there you go, set the lap time for now, pre-modification. From one Lamborghini to another, this is gonna be fast. This is the Nsr Lamborghini Hurricane GT3. Pipped the top of the leaderboard for quite a long time until I introduced the other Nsr, which is the AMG Gt3, which just sort of beat it. But I think we're going to see a change here, because I'm not sure whether the AMG is going to be able to hold its lead, because this is a very fast track with some fast straights, and this car is beautifully balanced for that kind of track. I think this car is going to be pretty fast. Let's get it running, and it's straight out of the box. There's no modifications on this one, so as you can see, very, very smooth, very, very flat to the track, really grips the track extremely well, this one. And as you can see, it is a beautiful car. I do think this has to be, I'll be amazed if this doesn't actually set a brand new lap record. You see, the problem is with the AMG GT3 is it's very light and very flighty, and tends to slide off the track. On a fast track like this, I think this car, with its much better weight balance, will hold the track a lot better when it does when it gets to the corners after going down a straight. So anyway, let's bring her in then and set her up, get it set up, and see how fast it can do 10 laps on the new track. So this is it then, 10 laps with the Nsr Lamborghini Hurricane. Something tells me this is going to be fast. Far more confidence with this one. Wow, this thing just absolutely grips the track. You can really get the throttle open on this with almost absolute confidence that it's going to stick to that track. The way it goes through the ditch slot carousel is unbelievable. None of the other cars can handle that carousel in the way that this one can. This is going to be fast, really fast. That's it, it's done, it's 10 laps. That seemed like absolutely no time at all. Let's bring it in then. I'm going to go and grab the camera. And here it is. So here is the Nsr Gt3 Lambo. And it did it in a sub 1 minute time of 57.50 seconds. That's fast. That really is fast. Let's have a look at its fastest lap. 5.50 seconds, again very, very fast. So the important thing now is how is it going to stack up against the AMG GT. But we do have a very, very fast sub 1 minute lap time there. Okay, one more car I'm going to run today in this establishing of the league table on the new layout, and that is the Nsr AMG GT. And the reason I'm going to run this one is just earlier we ran the Lamborghini Hurricane Performante, which I knew is one of the slowest cars on the track, and this one I'm running because I know in previous tests this is the fastest car on the previous layout. We have a different kind of layout now with much longer straights and much more opportunity for other cars to get the hammer down. Have a look at my previous videos for the full details of this car. Very, very light, very, very fast. But yeah, let's get it on the track and take it on a little ride out and see what kind of lap time it's going to set. I'm going to just get it running initially just to make sure it runs okay on the track. That's obviously quite important. So, I mean, listen to it. It's just so quiet. I mean, this thing really is a lovely silent car, near enough silent anyway. Beautifully smooth NSR motor. Okay, as you can see, very, very smooth running car. Very, very sensitive to the throttle, this one. As you can probably tell, as I'm going into the upper corners there, I'm having to squeeze a little harder to get it to get into that acceleration mode, because the throttle is needing quite a bit of a squeeze to get it to really open up. But I think there's almost no doubt it's surely going to be the continued lap record holder. But it does run really well, doesn't it? Let's look at this. I mean, it does run really well. Okay, let's bring her in then and set it up and see how fast it can go on 10 laps around my track. Okay, it's time for the Nsr AMG GT3 to set a 10 lap time. Hopefully the fastest one on the track, but let's find out. There we go. Now, while it is quick, this thing, during the test runs, it slid off the track several times, and it did it most commonly on the dip slot carousel. And that piece of track is renowned for being really dodgy for lightweight cars. So I will do my best to going well. Hoping with that carousel this time. Oh, it nearly came off there, but we're still holding it. There we go, it's done its 10 laps. Let's bring it in now and see how fast this car managed to do 10 laps of my track. Again, I'm going to grab the camera, you're going to see it for yourself. So there is the AMG GT, and it did it in 59.84 seconds, so it's a sub 1 minute, and a lap time of fastest lap 5.73 seconds. So that is a very, very good time. So there you have it, we now have a new league table based on the extended track. Most of the results were as expected, apart from the Nsr Lamborghini has now retaken its top spot in the league table. It was the spot that was occupied before by the Nsr AMG, but of course the problem with the AMG on this new layout is it gets quite flighty and it starts to slide. You've got to be really careful when you go into some of the corners because it can literally just slide straight off the corners, whereas the Lamborghini version does hold the track so much better. So the Lamborghini NSR now takes the top spot on the table, but NSR, as we expected, occupy both of the top 2 slots at the moment. So there you have it. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.